Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide. And happy Tuesday. Here we are once again. And today I'm excited to kick off a new series, and that is our Get the Message series. We're going to be doing a series of shows all about getting divine guidance, getting messages from the universe, from your angels, from loved ones who've crossed over to spirit, from astrology, all kinds of different things on getting messages, getting the awarenesses and some of the answers that you are looking for and seeking and probably have sitting right in front of you, but just may not know how to interpret them. So today, I am flying solo, actually not solo because I always have Sam with me, but Sam and I are together tonight, and I'm going to be talking all about getting the messages and really interpreting the messages, if you will, from your angels tonight. And I will be doing some live reading, so if you'd like a reading, I see so many of you have already called in. That's very exciting. I like it when you call in early so we know what we're getting ourselves into. If you'd like to call in and get my take on something that's going on in your world, you can call in at 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. And as you know, we always start the top of the show with some housekeeping and some announcements, things that are going on. So I don't know if you've been feeling a little bit draggy in your energy, but we are in a waning moon right now. So that just means that we're getting a little bit of less moonlight each day. The moon's getting smaller and smaller. At least the appearance of the illumination of the moon is getting smaller and smaller as we go down towards the dark moon, or what we call the new moon. And so this is a time of ebb. It's a time of reflection. It's a time for cleaning out, clearing out. It's a time for practicing, researching, rehearsing, those types of things. So work with the energy if you can. Don't try to go out and be a hero right now as far as manifesting is concerned. Not that you can't do it, but it's a little bit tougher now. And we also have one of the planets in retrograde. Jupiter is in retrograde. What does Jupiter in retrograde mean? You know what? I was supposed to look that up before I got on the show. And I saw it the other day, and I was like, that's huge because Jupiter is in retrograde until January 10th, something like that. And I know it's a big planet and a big deal. Maybe on the break I'll look it up because I know I wanted to mention it to you. But if you want to Google that, you Google that yourself to kind of gather your information. But it's important to know when some of these things are moving around. And what they did say was that because it's such a large planet, it is having a heavy effect on, how you're feeling and energetically just, how things are functioning for you. So I don't want to give you any false information. We'll figure it out on the break and give you some more when we come back from our first break. But keep that in mind. And you want to keep track. Like I said, Mercury will go in retrograde later on before the end of the year. But we don't have to worry about that right now, so we won't we'll just count our blessings and just be happy that right now it's getting cold and dark, and it's kind of rainy, and at least here on the East Coast we get all the seasons, so we're it's definitely, you can feel the fall coming on. I was saying to myself today, I guess it's time to make a nice pot of soup and start that whole slow nesting phase, I guess, if you will. So keep that in mind, and don't beat yourself up too much if your energy is feeling a little wonky right now. It'll pick up a little bit towards the end of the month. So, okay. So what else do we have going on? We have my angel event coming up on October 21st. This Friday is the last day to register because we have to prep the room and prep all the technology and figure the whole thing out. So this Friday is what date is that? This Friday is the last day to register, and you can go to, it's October 12th, this is Friday. So you can go to ahamomentsinc.com/angel event, and that event will be both live here in New Jersey all day from, I think it's like 10 to 4 or 10 to 5, and then also we'll be streaming it online, and if you can't make it, we'll have a replay for those who are registered, so you'll be able to see it even after it streams live, and we'd love to have you. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff in that class. We'll be doing some impromptu live readings. I'll be teaching you all about how to read your cards, your own angel cards, and how to do readings for yourself and for others, and we'll be doing a worldwide global manifesting with your angels meditation, guided meditation, which is really, really powerful when you have that many people from around the world involved. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's October 21st, and the last day to register is this Friday, October 12th. So ahamomentsinc.com/angel event. And then finally, we are doing registrations. I have a few more spots. I've been doing a lot of readings this month, but I have a few more spots for our half-hour angel readings. So if you'd like to get a reading, please, you can go on the website at ahamomentsinc.com, and you can look under the readings with Mari tab, work with Mari tab, and see the readings there, and sign up, and we can get you on the schedule for the end of October. And that's about it. So I guess, let's get started with talking about this whole communicating with the angels thing. I've been teaching angel school, and we have a really great class going, and very, very intense, lots and lots of new information coming up from the angels, and doing some channeled guided meditations each week, and really exciting to see how it's a lot of fun. I'm actually very privileged to work with the angels in facilitating these courses, because it's really not me. It's really they can't. I meditate, and I work with angels on a daily basis, and I ask how can it be a contribution, and they said angel school over the summer, and I said, okay, that sounds interesting. And they've been sort of creating this thing as we go, so it's really exciting to see what they're creating, and a lot of the new information coming up. So that's a lot of fun. And one of the things when I was asking what did we want to do on the show tonight, they said, let's talk about how we actually communicate, so that those people who are not necessarily attending angel school can learn more as well, and so that they're getting the guidance that we're sending. Because a lot of you pray, a lot of you ask, but you're not really understanding how to interpret what they're saying back. And I can pretty much guarantee you that they are always answering you. They're always trying to, invite you into a conversation. But it is a conversation, and what does it take to have an actual two-way conversation? It takes give and take, right? It takes a question, and it takes an answer, or an awareness and a question, and then some more awareness and some more answers, and it also takes action. So you ask a question, and then they give you an awareness or some sort of answer, some sort of message to help you to move forward by taking a particular action. And then you ask another question once you've taken that action, and then you get more information. Now, a couple of key points that I'd like to bring to your attention. And I see you guys calling in. That's wow. So if you're waiting for for me to start to take calls, we're going to do that on the other side of the first break. So you don't want to hang up, because it's kind of a first come, first serve basis, but I know that a lot of you, I'm just seeing Sam is working very hard tonight, checking in with everybody, so a lot of you are calling in. Just so you know, don't hang up. Okay, so the first thing that we want you to know is that when you're asking for guidance, you are going to be asking. First of all, the most important thing is you always have to ask a question. If you're saying, "Oh, my life sucks," and "Oh, I hate my job," and "Oh, this happens and that happens, and I can't believe these people are doing this and that person's doing that," and and it's like wah 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 wah. All the angels can do is sit and listen. They really can't help you because you're not asking a question. So really, really important. You've heard me say this before. If you listen to the show, you always want to ask a question, and then you invite a conversation. Now, like if you were on the phone and you ask a question, but then you keep on talking and don't let the party that you're talking to, have a word in edgewise, that's not a conversation either. It's like a monopolization of the airspace. So you want to also stop asking. Once you've asked a question, you want to stop. You want to sort of be quiet and allow them to respond, just like you would on a regular call with one of your friends or family members. And that's really important. And no, it sounds simple, but most people see, speaking and working with angels as either statements or, the worse my life can look, maybe the more favor I'll get from these beings or from God or whatever. And you know what? It doesn't work like that. So a lot of people, I know some people who like to kind of go down the litany of the day of all the misery. And we all have bad days. I have days like that too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not always sunshine, lollipops, and roses. You can ask my family and my friends, and I'm far from that all the time. But I do an exercise that I didn't invent this exercise, but it's called pivoting. And one of the things that it really helps with is just completely shifting your energy and shifting your ability to receive what we call life force. Life force is energy. It's positive energy. It's kind of like filling up your glass, and it has different levels. Sometimes we're very, very high in life force, and sometimes we're very, very low. I know, like when I'm dancing or when I'm, with horses or I'm, doing something I really enjoy doing, it's kind of like pouring water on a plant, right? But then when you're working really hard or you're, arguing with people or you're in a situation that's really tense, you can also have a sense of depletion. And that's where you're kind of draining life force. So the object of the game is to keep your life force as high and as full and as replenished as possible. And it is something that moves up and down. It's not like you just get it and you keep it. It's something that you acquire and that you allow yourself to receive. So life force is super, super important. Now back to the pivoting exercise I was talking about. If you are constantly complaining about something that's going on in your world, and all day, every day, it's complaint after complaint and judgment after judgment and criticism after criticism, all day long, and justification, because I've seen people do this. They, you say, really, we have to talk about this again. Oh, but it's because of this and because of that and because of this, and then they go down into all the substantiation of why this is so awful and why this is so hard and why it needs to be, why they're justified in feeling and saying all this stuff. And you know what? That is just sucking the life out of them. And if you're allowing them to have that conversation with you and you allow yourself to get emotionally invested, which is most of the time what they're trying to do, you will absolutely drain your life force. And a lot of people, if you happen to carry a lot of life force, like I do, because I'm in the business of, creating that in my world and helping others to create that. So I'm very, very aware of it. So I carry a lot of light. People have a tendency to think, not even consciously, but they can sense that. And most of you listening on the phone probably experience this as well, where people can sense your energy level. They can sense your light. They can sense that you have something that they don't, and they sort of latch on, and they start to try to suck it out of you. They try to suck you into commiserating, suck you into sympathizing with them, talk about the same thing again that they've been talking about over and over and over again and not willing to change it. What they're looking for is life force. They're looking for this energy this sort of from you because they're not aware of how to plug into the guidance of their angels, the guidance of God, the guidance of the ascended masters, the spirit guides, and all the other powers that be that can provide them with sustenance and with support. And so this is super important for you to recognize. If you happen to be one of those folks, and you know who you are, and we all go through it, where you are just from top to bottom in a pretty consistent state of misery, where you kind of idle on depression, you idle on misery, and every so often you pop up to happiness, but you don't want to be too happy for too long because God forbid something bad happens because if you're too happy, you know, someone can come and take it away, or somebody can ruin it, or you could be disappointed, so you want to keep yourself really low, keep yourself really ratcheted down so, you know, nobody can take that away from you. If you're kind of in that zone, it's also affecting the ability of your angels to help you. And I guess I'm going into detail about this because they really, really want to drive this point home. No one is going to go, angels included, is going to go around misery and try to talk you out of your misery. We can't do that. It's against your free will. It's against the law. It's against divine law. Now, if you're super worried and anxious and spinning and all those things that happen to us because we're humans and we have life and life happens, this doesn't mean that there's, you know, the powers that be don't want to help you unless you're, you know, super lottery, just hit the lottery happy. That's not the point. But the thing that you want to do instead of, you know, the woe is me and the litany of, you know, judgments and all that is to ask questions. Is to say, okay, I'm feeling really not so good today. I'm feeling depressed, I'm sad, I'm worried, I'm anxious, I'm this, I'm that. Angels, can you please help me to feel a sense of detachment from this situation so that I can have discernment about the situation without anxiety? So that's the type of question you want to ask is, can I have discernment or detachment? Okay, and then from there you want to say, you know, from there then you're in the position to receive first the energetic healing and the energetic alignment so that you can actually receive what they have to help you with. Okay, that's extraordinarily important. So asking a question, it's not just, when will he call, or when will I get the money, or when will my boss give me a raise, or when will my kids stand up and do what I think they should do, and when will my husband, you know, stop cheating or start, you know, coming home with more money. All of these things that you're asking for, those end results, what the angels are saying is everybody gets so focused on the end result that they forget about the process of getting there. And that's the process where you can ask some really dynamic questions and have a lot easier time of it. One of the other questions you can ask, in addition to for divine detachment, is what I like to call it. And when I started praying like this, or, you know, talking with the angels like this, boy, did it make a huge difference. When it comes to divine detachment, let me just take a sidebar here, because two angels are coming in right now to announce themselves. The two that you want to call on for divine detachment, okay, which is one of the biggest gifts you can ever get energetically, divine detachment. So that's that quaky feeling in your heart. You want to know how you're attached? Well, I'm going off on too many tangents. Okay, let me stop. Two angels, Archangel Jeremiel and Archangel Uriel, are the two angels you want to call in to help you with divine detachment. On the other side of what I was just going to say, and just so I don't forget to mention who they are, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a second, is when you're looking for divine detachment, you can know if you are attached to the outcome or attached to the situation by how you feel physiologically. How your body feels will let you know if you are attached. And that usually happens, it's in your heart. You start to feel anxiety. All symptoms of anxiety is equivalent to attachment. Your stomach will start flip-flopping. Your chest will be beating hard. You'll be freaking out over, doing a lot of what ifs and if onlys and well, if I do this and that, and if I do that then this, and all the pros and cons, and spinning and spinning and spinning. Maybe if you do have angel cards, you're asking over and over and over again. That's attachment. And that literally puts up a brick wall to receiving. It literally stops all forward momentum, especially positive forward momentum, in its tracks. I have a saying that I always use, and I love it, and it's so true, and that is, worry is negative prayer. Worry is negative meditation. So going over and over and over and over something again and again and again, how they're doing you wrong, and and she didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and they didn't give me this, and I need that, and if they would do this, then I would make money, and if they would do that, I could make money, but I can't because of this and this and this and this, all of that, and then, oh, God forbid, you add in Obama and Mitt Romney and everything, and you're just spinning from one quadrant of your day to the next, being attached to outcomes. You are doing what we call negative meditation. You are literally doing negative mantras. Whatever you repeat over and over again, you bring into your physical world. That goes for both positive and negative. So as the angels are saying very adamantly, is they tie our hands when they do that. We cannot support you and help you in the way that you're desiring because you're mantraing all of the horrors of the, planet. Now, does it mean that you don't have passionate causes or things that do, make you angry? No. Does it mean that if you get angry that you ruin everything that you're doing on a positive level and you have to be Pollyanna positive all the time? Absolutely not. But it is important to be cognizant of how much time and energy you're spending on stuff. Okay, so super, super important. I can't believe we've already gotten to our first break. So once we take our break, I'll come back. I'll finish up with the content. I'll start taking your calls. I see a lot of callers on the line. So please do not hang up. We will get to you in the next segment. If you'd like to call in, it's 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and we will be right back.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Hi, this is Dr. Dean here. 12 years ago, I had everything that was supposed to make you happy in this reality, and I was still dying inside. So I told the universe, you have 6 months or I'm killing myself. Either things change or I'm out of here. A week after I made this demand, I saw an ad in the paper. It said, access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and it had this girl's phone number. To make a long story shorter, I had a session with the girl. It's called an Access Consciousness Bar session, and it's a simple process of touching points on the person's head. For me, it was the first time remembering everything was okay, everything always had been, and everything always would be, and I never contemplated suicide again. One tool, one thing, a process that took about an hour, and it changed the energy of what I knew was possible. It changed my whole life. This is what I'd like to share with you. For the first time in years, I'll facilitate a one-day Access Bars class. On November 7th, you can learn this process with me in California, or you can join me online from your home anywhere in the world. Go to globalbars.com to learn more. Global Bars.
step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
I'm Mari. We are back, and you're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. Tonight we're talking all about getting the messages from your angels. And boy, this is a hot topic. I mean, people are calling it and actually on the phone live from many, many places around the world. So thank you for calling in. I'm very, very excited to start talking with several of you. If you'd like to call in, 347-215-9485. There's 347-215-9485. All right, let me get to a little bit more of what I had promised to talk about before we get into all of our callers, as many as we can anyway. First of all, when we're talking about receiving messages from the other side, well, receiving messages from your angels, rather, it's really important to understand kind of how the angels work, because this is, most people get confused. I had someone ask me this week, well, I'm not seeing my angel in 3D. What am I doing wrong? Like, I'm not, like, am I, like, is this angel going to come in and show up, like, in the flesh, in my house, like, next to my bed, or, no, that's just not quite how it works. Now, you will have instances where you will have sightings of angels, like I talked about. I don't know if it was in my class or on the show last time. I forget what, but I've had various experiences, and there's also sorts of books on it. People who have angel stories, and a lot of you have had encounters, what felt very real, angel encounters, and they are real. But in general, don't get discouraged if you don't have an angel knocking at the door and handing you your your new paycheck from your new job. I mean, it just doesn't quite work like that. So what you're really looking for when you talk about visions, okay, so we have our four clairs: clairvoyance, which is energetic sight; audience, which is energetic hearing; claircognizance, which is energetic knowing; and clairsentience, which is energetic feeling or sensing. Those are the four clairs. Those are the cornerstones to your intuition, and that's what your angels always use first. When we're talking about clairvoyance in particular, you're talking about getting a vision of something. It's just like getting a distant daydream. It can feel very far away, it can feel very close. But one of the best times to get true clairvoyance is in between when you're awake and about to fall asleep. There's that little window where you're sort of on the edge of consciousness going into the sleep state. And that space is where you're kind of at like what I consider to be a gateway or doorway or a threshold, where you're conscious enough and awake enough to still perceive as your conscious physical body, but you're unconscious enough to be stepping through that veil and being able to perceive what's in the dream state. That little window is where you really want to consciously start to affirm that you're going to pay attention. And you can ask your angels to support you in being aware, having your awareness heightened during that, and being willing to receive messages during that. So these are the kinds of good questions you can ask. Angels, can you please provide me with a message to support me in this aspect of my life during my that threshold stage of my sleep before I fall asleep completely? Can you please help me to remember my dreams? Dream state is a great time to receive visual messages. Can you please help me to perceive in my peripheral vision? Because we're getting awarenesses from other dimensions, and those other dimensions are parallel selves. That's a whole other show. We'll get into that maybe later this year. But we get our awarenesses of other dimensions, and we're kind of our infinite self in the parallel world. So really in your peripheral vision. So peripheral vision energetically and physically. And so people think it's above or below, there's heaven, there's hell, or my father's looking down on me. Well, not really. He's looking over at you. He's probably sitting right next to you if he's passed away. And you can probably perceive that at certain points of time, certain points of the day. So, but you're really talking about a parallel world, parallel information that's coming from a parallel place, not above or below. There's no judgment, there's no hierarchy, per se. And so, so you might see, as far as messages, getting signs, you might see a little glimpse of something in your parallel, in your peripheral vision. Okay, if you see a flash of light, that's an angel showing, or fairy, or one of these other beings that are supporting you. You can sometimes even perceive more than that. But generally, clairvoyance, you can get a distant sort of a vision, and it's not 3D. Like I'm also a medium, and I've done mediumship readings where I've talked to people's grandmothers and pets who've passed away, and uncles and all kinds of stuff, and it was really pretty crazy around 9/11. And people would say, I'd say, oh, your grandmother's off to your left side. And they're like, what? You can see her? You can see her? Like, and I could say what she was showing herself as wearing and how she passed away and all these things. But it wasn't like I was seeing her, like, in the flesh. She was presenting that perception of herself. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, there are a couple of different types of signs, and I'm going to start taking some calls. The first ones are just to let you know that they're there. So that would be, like, I call them beginner's luck. You'll see feathers in weird places, or you'll see coins, or you'll see rainbows or double rainbows. I went rainbow chasing a couple of days ago when it was raining out, and I saw like 3 rainbows in one day, like 2 double rainbows. It was really over the top. I was videotaping. I should put those videos on Facebook. But anyway, I was like a little kid, I like ran out barefoot, like, oh my God, rainbows, So sometimes I go a little crazy, but I knew just based on what I had been meditating on and, the questions I've been asking and support I've been looking for, to get all those rainbows in one day was a big deal. And especially when it was perfectly sunny out at one part of the day and the rainbows were coming through the sun and not through the rain. So that was pretty interesting as well. These are when you really know something's going on and that your guides and the powers that be, the angels, etc., are really there supporting you and wanting to provide you with messages. Also, you've heard me say this before, seeing animals in unusual places, certain animals, hawks are messengers, and, ladybugs are good luck, and all different kinds of things. My intuition mastery system and my intuition toolkit have all those signs and things in them. But those animals, the book Animal Speaks by Ted Andrews is great. So if you're seeing animals, hummingbirds, different things, and it feels like there might be some meaning to it, you might want to look them up and see. And that's how angels will, first of all, just let you know they're there, they're around, you're not alone. Now, as far as actual messages that are giving you the answers that you seek or the awarenesses that you're looking for, there's another way that they'll do it, and that is, first of all, they will use things that have whole bodies of information and put them into your sphere. So let's say, it was funny, the other day I was watching television, and I love Joel Osteen, and people are like, well, that's weird that you're like this big preacher, when you're always talking about angels and mediumship, and that kind of goes against the church and all that. I don't really look at him as a preacher. I look at him as actually a mystic. He has some tremendous messages. They're very uplifting, and sometimes you just want to hear somebody say, hey, God has got your back, and he's going, and, we don't have to worry about all the co-creating and all that other stuff. So I always pay attention to Joel. I like Joel. I go through my stages. But I was watching Oprah, and she had T.D. Jakes on, that other preacher. Now, I had not ever paid attention to T.D. Jakes. He's like very, crescendo, very big, evangelistic kind of pastor. And she loved him, and she grew up in the black church and all that, so it was really part of her roots and whatnot. I didn't grow up in that type of church. But anyway, I kind of got fascinated because I was like, you know what? If somebody has a message, who cares how it's packaged? Let's hear what this guy's message is, because clearly if Oprah's, got him on one week and Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle on another, he's got to be saying something good. And I kind of, as usual, how you get caught up in Oprah and you end up watching the whole thing. You expect to watch 3 minutes and you end up there for an hour. And I was like, okay, cool. That T.D. Jakes, okay, you know what? He has some good little sound bites, some good nuggets, cool. Add them to the list of people that make sense. Great. Not thinking about it anymore. Now, I've been asking my guides kind of all along for different advice and whatnot. And I got to the bookstore and I was working and I was doing all stuff for the shows and different things, projects. And it was finally time to go home, and I went to the bathroom and I was coming out, and they said, and I heard my guides, my angels say, in my right ear, which generally, if your angels are going to speak to you, they're going to speak to you in one ear. They're not going to speak to you in both. So don't expect this surround sound message from them. They will speak in your dominant ear. So if you are right-handed, it's your right ear. If you are left-handed, it's your left ear. That your divine guidance will generally come from one ear or the other, not from both. And people expect the Bose system of guidance, like Moses or something. It's not like that. Okay, so it's it's a little bit of a smaller voice. It's in more towards one ear than the other. As you get more advanced, you'll receive as you get more aware, I shouldn't say more advanced, you'll be able to perceive that a little bit more clearly. Anyway, I heard, go look at the New Age books. I'm like, oh, come on, you know what? I know all the books in the bookstore. I'm there all the time. I don't need to go. I just want to go home. And they're like, go to the books, go to that section. I'm like, oh, no, I don't really. Go to that section. Okay, fine. They don't have to tell me, more than 3 times. So I say, okay, fine. So I go, and I see all these decks of cards. Now, I'm coming out with a new deck of cards, so I always like to look at what, other people have as far as tarot cards and all that stuff. And I'm looking, and I see something on, I don't know, tea leaves or something. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before. And I start leafing through it. Well, when I look down, there is a book. It's actually a Bible by T.D. Jakes. It was a Bible that he had done some his interpretations for women in this Bible. And I was like, well, that's something, because I just saw him on TV for the first time, never paid attention to him. The religion section is all the way on the other side of this 30,000 square foot bookstore. Why his book would be on that shelf underneath the cards? I was in the tarot card section, like the Christian preacher in the tarot card section. That's kind of strange. And I just said, okay, so there's a message in here somewhere. And so I open up now this is what happens when you get into that situation where you see, the book falls off the shelf in your hands or something like this. Then what you want to do is say, what do I need to know most from this right now? And you just open the book. And I did. And I opened up to a story. It had my father's name, Benjamin, in the story, and the quote at the bottom was exactly what I needed to hear based on the stuff that I've been working on. It was uncanny. I was so outdone because, you never, no matter how much you do this, you never, ever take the magic for granted. And I was just like, OMG, I can't believe, and it's still magic for me. So I'm like calling my friend. I'm like, I got to put this on the record with somebody. I got to tell somebody, because this is going to go in my book. I love when that happens. And I call those the longer messages, because your angels want to give you more than just a feather. more than just a pat on the head. Oh, yes, we're here. We love you. Bleed. They want to give you step by step. But you have to be willing to know how to connect those dots. So some of the ways you'll do that is like what I just described, where you just have to listen and follow, even if it feels a little impulsive. When you're getting something like this hunch, it feels like a hunch. It feels like a knowing. It feels like this doesn't make sense, but I'm going to do it anyway kind of feeling. You will get led. And as soon as you take that step, they'll give you another step, and they'll give you another step, and they'll give you another reinforcement. So and what they love to do is to give you that reinforcement from something you would never, ever think of, so that it feels more tangible and more real for you. So like using T.D. Jakes, if they had used Doreen Virtue, I probably wouldn't have taken it as seriously because I had known Doreen for 10 years. If they had been using, Dane or somebody that I'm always kind of around, then not so much. But T.D. Jakes, and then I see him on Oprah, which I never watch Oprah on Sundays. That's not my part of my normal Sunday routine. So all of that synchronicity, not coincidence, but synchronicity, is very, very powerful. Now, the way I called one of my friends and she said, "Oh, that's interesting." Oh, that's a coincidence. And it wasn't coincidence and it wasn't interesting. It was magnificent. It was magical. It was miraculous. And yeah, she has the right to her own opinion. But what you want to make sure you do is that you recognize the magic in that and you celebrate that magic right then and there, because that gives the gratitude, which is the fuel for more of it to happen to your angels. It's just like if you give a gift to someone and they don't care, you don't get more, right? They pull back. So it's the same thing with your angels. So when we're talking about these big, breadcrumb messages, I call them, these big, connect the dots messages, you want to allow yourself to be led step by step. You don't want to wrangle-dangle it. You don't want to overly, mentally, hang on and hold on. You want to allow yourself to go step by step. And as soon as you go to the next step, they will send you the next dot. Now, I happen to get 10 dots at a time, or sometimes 30 dots at a time, because I'm always in a conversation. I'm very aware of how to do it. And I take action. So they give me this next step quicker and quicker and quicker. If you're in the stage where you're only taking one action, or you're watching and saying, was that a sign? Was that a sign? Maybe I should have a reading with Mari to see if that was a sign. Was that a sign? It's going to take a lot longer, okay? You need to, follow the hunches. Sometimes will you be led to a dead end or what seems to be a dead end? Absolutely. Sometimes it'll just be something that came into your world. You might misinterpret something, or you might go, down a side path, but there's always a gift in it. There's always a gift in it. So the other thing that they'll do besides what I just described is they will use song lyrics. Listen carefully. Song lyrics. You might hear them in your ear. If you hear lyrics in your head just out of nowhere, stop and listen to what those lyrics are. Because 9 times out of 10, there's a message in them. And that, you know how, if you think right now, you're not listening to someone sing, row, row, row your boat. But you can imagine someone singing, row, row, row your boat, and merrily, 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 right? You know the melody of that. That's the same way your clairaudience works. So you'll get a melody in your ear, and that's your clairaudience working. Okay, your guides, your angels will give you very specific messages with song lyrics. Also, what they will do is they will reinforce those song lyrics with your radio or your television. You may hear those lyrics in the flesh, in other places where you'd at least expect. These little things are very, very strong signs and signals of how your angels will literally create a conversation with you and give you a step-by-step guidance on your path. Now, some people say, well, I don't get any of that. Well, you are getting it. It's probably that you're not noticing it. And what you want to do is start writing it down as little things that seem even stupid. Just write them down. The more you write it down, the more you're giving it energy, and the more it'll show up. It's cumulative. It's like a muscle. You got to practice, and it'll show up more, and it'll show up more. One of the other questions you can ask is, can you please help me to be more aware of the signs that you're providing? These are the kinds of questions. Most people are focused on the end result. Can I have a job? When am I going to get the job? What day am I going to get the job? All that kind of stuff. Ask for patience in the process. Ask for acceleration of the process and detachment, because the more detached you are, the faster it goes. So those are some of the core practices. I want to get to at least, oh my goodness, I'm already to my second break, but I'm going to take the first caller, and then we're going to see how many of you we can get through over the next few minutes. And then if we probably won't have time to get to a lot more of this content that I had, but I'll see as we talk through the callers how much more I can help you guys with. So let's talk to Emma from New Jersey. Hi, Emma. How are you tonight?
Just a second. I am fine. How are you?
I'm good. What's the question?
Well, you know what? I get a lot of synchronistic events happening in my life concerning a certain person. And I kind of wonder if you could give me a reading about that.
Well, what is it specifically you want to know?
Is it heading somewhere?
So is this a romantic encounter that you're asking about?
Yes.
Show, so it's just like we have 30 seconds. Okay, so you basically are. So there's two things that happen with relationships. One is we have a tendency, whatever we focus our energy on, we get more of. So if you're really looking for, signs and synchronicities about a person, you'll be more likely to attract them. So that's one aspect that can happen. And then there's other aspects where there is a natural unfolding of a pretty good relationship, So feels like it's going in that direction. Now, the thing that's important for you is to not get attached and not to overanalyze it, and not to mean too much too soon, because your energy feels like you have a strong desire for a particular end result, and actual desire is very resonant in your energy, and it is kind of spooky. Okay? So what you want to do is just stay very focused on turning that love towards yourself, allowing you to sort of treat yourself the way you want this person to behave, because it feels like he's kind of distant, like he's sort of around the outskirts of your world, but not fully in your world, and he sort of steps in and he steps out and he steps in and he steps out. But it's really more because he has a little bit of fear of entrapment, and he can kind of feel like he's kind of one of those guys that feels like, well, I'd like to, but I'm not so sure I want to be like have the whole package. So like energetic signs, yes, but in order to get the physical and the energetic to sync up, detachment is really, really important. What I would say is look at it as a fun game. Don't overanalyze it too much, and I think what you're desiring will you'll definitely have a shot at it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in. Have a great night. Okay, let's try Sandy from Ohio, and then we'll get to our next break. Hi, Sandy. How are you? Thanks for waiting. Oh, maybe you didn't wait. Is she there? Sam, do I have Sandy? Okay, so let's move on to Dawn in South Carolina. Hi, Dawn. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome.
Thank you. And I was just wondering, what if my angels or anybody from the other side had anything to tell me
about what type of topic?
I'm sorry. It's funny what you were just talking about is because about health. I've had some people come into my life that I never even thought, and they're in my life, but like I actually ended up speaking with them and realizing, and now it's like the steps are going like you were just describing, but I don't really like those steps. And I was wondering, as far as health concerned, would it be okay for me just to back away because I don't want to know, like I kind of feel like I don't want to know that.
I'm so confused. You're talking about people and then you're talking about health, so I'm really confused.
Okay. Just wait. Okay. A doctor had thought I might have had some cancer, and I ended up coming in contact with this person that did have that cancer, and I never even thought that like I was trying to like block it in my head. And then this person came into my life. I was like, wow, that's weird. And then another person came into my life, same situation. So, and they were and now they're trying to force me to go to these certain doctors. And I'm just like feeling like, is that a sign or not?
Well, I would like to say it's not a sign because I know that's what you like to hear, but I would take it as a sign that, yes, they're trying to get encouragement that there's treatments, that there's people who have gone through what you could potentially or be experiencing, and it feels like it's going to be a positive situation for you and something that you should just allow yourself to go and get the treatment and the support and help from the medical professionals that are there for that. So being in the denial of it, and I'm not saying you don't have, and all this, but it's really to go ahead, and your angels are trying to provide you comfort and provide you with a support system of people who can say, hey, you know what, there's a way to do this, and we're kind of like, giving you some resources. Now, it does feel to me like this is, a lot of times things like this are very highly energetic, and what I can say to you when it comes to that is what you want to ask your angels for, and they're very ready to help you. Archangel Raphael in particular will help you with physical healing, and Archangel Michael will help you with protection so that you're getting the right treatment from the right doctors that's perfectly aligned with you. Is you want to ask for the healing of the energy that caused the physical manifestation of these symptoms. Because whatever physical symptoms you're having, cancer or anything else, always has an origin of energetic issues, energetic challenges. So what you want to ask your angels for in particular is the healing of whatever energy is causing this physical manifestation. Also, you can ask Archangel Jeremiel for emotional healing and detachment, because regardless of what the diagnosis is, if you stay detached, then you can allow it to heal. If you get detached and start to go into a panic and oh my gosh, and how could this happen to me, and how could that, and what am I going to die, and you know what? That's going to make it, your body is not going to be able to rid itself of it as easily as if you stay detached, open to treatment, open to receiving the guidance from and support of your angels and whatever humans they're manifesting as, because a lot of times angels will manifest as humans to support you through a situation like this. So from a physical.
Well, that was the weird thing, was that the person that was in the same place that I've been in for since last January, I never even knew, and then all of a sudden this person just came up to me and started talking, and it was like the same exact situation that I was in, and I was just like, what? It just kind of freaked me out a little bit, and then it happened again with somebody else, and it freaked me out again. So that's why I was wondering, angels coming, exactly what you were just talking about, really, actually.
So what I would say to you is this will be the last thing I say, just because I have to go to break, but
that's fine.
The point is to embrace this and love yourself through it and love your angels and just allow yourself to receive and just be willing to receive healing and start to ask the right questions, which are for the right support, the right resources, the right doctors to support you and give you the right diagnoses and treatment plans, as well as, most importantly, ask for the healing of the energy that caused this physical manifestation, and things will go a lot more quickly for you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Be blessed.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to take a really, really quick break. Hang on the line. We'll probably let this show go over a little tiny bit, Sam, because I know we have so many people on the call. I wanted to just do another quick break. And when we come back, we'll take more of your questions. So if you'd like to call in, it's 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dr. Dean here. 12 years ago, I had everything that was supposed to make you happy in this reality, and I was still dying inside. So I told the universe, you have 6 months or I'm killing myself. Either things change or I'm out of here. A week after I made this demand, I saw an ad in the paper. It said, access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and it had this girl's phone number. To make a long story shorter, I had a session with the girl. It's called an Access Consciousness Bar session, and it's a simple process of touching points on the person's head. For me, it was the first time remembering everything was okay, everything always had been, and everything always would be, and I never contemplated suicide again. One tool, one thing, a process that took about an hour, and it changed the energy of what I knew was possible. It changed my whole life. This is what I'd like to share with you. For the first time in years, I'll facilitate a one-day Access Bars class. On November 7th, you can learn this process with me in California, or you can join me online from your home anywhere in the world. Go to globalbars.com to learn more. globalbars.com.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Hello, I'm Mari. We are back. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and we're talking about getting the messages from your angels. Just so you know, I know at the beginning of the show we talked about, I mentioned Jupiter in retrograde, and I did look it up on the break, and I just want to let you know the basics of Jupiter, and they're basically saying that it influences us internally to look within ourselves to seek new meaning. So it's a time that has to do with allowing ourselves to really receive what we know and what we truly deserve, and receiving abundance from the inside out. So feeling like this sense of abundance from within and gratitude for what we truly already have and what we desire, feeling gratitude, and then sending that out to the universe. Now, this happens to be, most retrogrades are shorter than this, but this particular one happens to last for 4 months, so it goes all the way into January. But you can Google it and learn more about it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I know there's so many of you waiting to speak with me on the line, but I did want to fulfill my promise that I did look it up, and it looks pretty okay, not too shabby. It's certainly not a Mercury in retrograde, that's for sure. So, all right, let's get to the next person. Who do we have? How about Selena in California? Hi, Selena.
Hey, your show has just been so informative. Thank you so much. I really have been enjoying this. I've never listened to your show before.
So you can thank you so much. So what's your question tonight?
My question is, how can I get? I would like to find out from the angels of the direction of my love and relationship, a better understanding. I heard you earlier saying about asking about more what was the threshold of your dream? I've been told I'm intuitive. I'm really good with my friends and stuff, and I have a high intuition, and I've had dreams that have come true. But when it comes to myself, forget it. I can't. I'm totally confused. And
attached. Well, that's because we get attached. It's not. I want to just caution you from saying forget it, because it's actually that you're always getting the awarenesses for yourself. It's just that you may not want to know what it is, or it may not be what you're hoping for. So we have a tendency to put up those blocks, but it's always there. So I don't want you to misidentify it. But it feels to me like you're pretty strong in the intuitive area, and that's good. So what's your specific question, just so that we can cut to the chase?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in love with a guy, and I know he's in love with me. And I just got a lot of stuff going on in my life, such as the career and finances and stuff, and a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, I'm very strong-willed. I just wanted to know I'm going in the right direction when it comes to him and things to come, and that we will overcome our obstacles.
Well, he perceives you as his best friend, which is really
cool.
He has a big puppy heart. You know, he's kind of watching you, and he would like for you to let him be more of a guy, like to let him care for you a little bit more and nurture you a little bit more. You have a tendency to feel like you don't deserve all that because you feel like all your own ducks aren't in a row, and you have this perception of this perfection of Selena that should be there for you to be worthy of receiving such a nice guy. But that's actually not true, and he doesn't really need all of that. So he's willing to sort of partner by your side. They're showing me a picture of a seeing eye dog. Like, he's that dedicated, the kind of guy that, the kind of person that's going to be by your side and sort of help you up the curb and down the escalators and onto the elevator and keep you safe. That's kind of where he's at. And, especially as you're in your own self-awareness and self-awakening, don't feel that has to be done solitary. That's the big message from your angels. Allow this coupling to support you, because a lot of the lessons that you kind of came to learn are in a couple situation. So they're saying love yourself, and that's going to give him a lot more expansion to let him in. They're just saying let him in, let him in, let him in. He's a good guy.
He's the one with the obstacles in his life. So until those clear, our togetherness is like at a little bit of a standstill. So that's what I was kind of hoping the angels can guide me or direct me about, or maybe even reassure me that those are eventually clear and I'm on the right track.
Guy, this is a good guy, and again, he's don't judge a book too much by its cover. Just watch him. Just watch him, and really focus on resonating your own energy of self-love, and that will give him a little bit more spaciousness to receive good things in his world as well. So I would just focus, and this is the big guidance for you, is they're saying focus on your own internal joy and that allowance. And you're not in the wrong direction with this one. And believe me when I tell you, I would tell you if you were. They would let me know.
Okay. And is there a way I can get a better clearing of my dreams so I can remember my dreams?
What I would say, and I don't really have the time to go into something like that right now because we're already 2 minutes after the end of the show, but I would just, if you're going to put a journal next to your nightstand and ask for, specific energy, messages in your dreams, and you might want to drink, a little bit of water before you go to sleep because water is an amplifier of energy, and then when you wake up, write down what you get.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's see if we can fit another person in. Kathy in Illinois. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, Mary. Good to talk to you. How are you?
What's your question?
Okay, Mary?
Yes?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, what are my angels trying to tell me? Because a couple weeks ago I had taken pictures in my kitchen, and I never saw so many orbs and stuff in my life. I mean, they were all over my kitchen. Usually I only see a couple, and they were like lights like flashing, and flashing lights and stuff, like shooting stars and stuff, and I took pictures, and they all look like thin lines and then thicker lines.
Orbs are a couple. A lot of times, orbs are who are in spirit, who are presenting themselves, and that's actually pretty exciting to have happening. But the big message for you is abundance. That's like kind of like money energy with you. So it feels like you're going to be coming into some pretty decent amount of money, and I'm not sure exactly how that's going to be, but generally the orbs are either people in spirit who are visiting, or like people who've crossed over. And there's whole books on orbs that you might want to read, and then there's also fairy energy and manifesting energy and abundance energy that has to do with orbs. So it feels to me though that you're coming into a really lucky time. You want to play the lottery a little bit, it feels, especially with Jupiter. Jupiter happens to be for gambling and luck and abundance and optimism and all those kinds of things. So I would just keep your heart open, because it feels like some really good things are coming your way, and that's probably their way of in fact, it's definitely their way of letting you know that. So good for you to take the pictures, and good luck with that too.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Much, Mary. Okay, have a good evening. Thanks a million. Okay, bye-bye.
Millions. Okay. Have a great night. Okay, I'm going to take one more, and then we'll see. Pierre in D.C. Hi, Pierre.
Hello. I'm great. I'm doing great. I was calling because I would like to have a reading talking about my love life and also my spiritual and finances. Things that I've been experiencing lately is that, like when you were talking about hearing music, I would hear that in my sleep, and then I would wake up and I'll have like this joyful feeling where, my dream felt so real, and sometimes my dreams would come true. And then lately I've been experiencing where I would have visions of like clairvoyance, and I always would feel like deja vu. I reflect back to when I was a child, and these things that I thought of when I was a child are like coming to reality. So that's what I want to know about, like, spirituality. Where are the angels trying to direct me with that, and also my love life?
Okay, so I can't do both because we are already 6 minutes over the end of the show. So I'm just going to answer the spirituality one. That is, you're in a, and that's really, really helpful. It's like you're getting all this raw energy, all of this. It's kind of like your gateways, your channel gateways. It sounds like you're hyper intuitive, which is awesome. But you're not afraid of it. What they're highly suggesting that you do is to start to journal about it and to keep very, very clear notes on what's happening, and start to direct the energy with questions, and start to ask the questions yourself about your love life. And one of the things that you can do is to ask your question to the angels with your dominant hand. So let's say you're writing in your journal, and you're right-handed. You just write the question out with your right hand, and then just take a deep breath, close your eyes, and then open your eyes and write what you perceive the answer to be with your non-dominant hand, your left hand. This is what's called automatic writing, where you start to write the messages directly from your own guides and from your own angels, and it sounds like you have the capacity to do that. And as you do that more and more, you will start to get full out, sentences and paragraphs. First it might be a few words. It might be more for you, depends. But you want to allow yourself to receive those messages and start to practice that way. And then everything else will fall into place. So hopefully that's that's a helpful thing. I know I started out doing automatic writing many years ago, probably close to 20 years ago, and I still do it to this day. It turns eventually into actually, channeling messages for yourself. So hopefully that will help you on your path, and I'm wishing you the best of luck, because it sounds like you're really, really, really on the right track. And all the other answers that you're looking for will actually fill up the process.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Have a great night. Okay, everybody. Well, this was a hot show. My goodness. We had so many people asking all these questions. It's awesome, and thank you. And I'm sorry for the ones that I didn't get to, but it's good to call in early when we're doing these shows, because there's so many of you who want to chat, and I would love to do more. Maybe we'll do another reading show very soon, like in the next few weeks. Next week, though, we have James Van Praagh on. And, James, you do not want to miss this show. This guy is, he's done readings for Cher and Reese Witherspoon, all these huge celebrities, but he is like the number one medium in the world, in the country, I would say at least. He's had his own shows, and he's worked with Shirley MacLaine and many, many other notable folks. And he's very, very accurate. So I am blessed to have him coming on the show next week. He'll be doing some readings, and if you would like to potentially get in touch with a loved one on the other side, you want to definitely call in early next week for that show. And then the last weekend, October 31st, on Halloween, we will have Greg Braden on, and that's another huge, huge, huge spiritual leader. You might want to look him up online. And so he'll be on as well, talking about all kinds of stuff, miracles, earth changes, all kinds of stuff. He's amazing. He really combines science and spirituality very powerfully, and he's just one of the he's up there with Wayne Dyer and those guys. He's about as wonderful as you can possibly get, so I'm really blessed to have him coming on as well. And we have some other surprises coming up too. So thank you for joining us this week. I know we went over a little bit, but hey, sometimes we can do that. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. And Sam was gracious enough to hang with me a little bit longer tonight, so I appreciate that. And we will be back here next week, same time, same place. So you know what I always say at the end of every show, and that is, you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in this energy, anything is possible. See you next week, everybody. Have a great night.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.